So we just watched Ohio State's open practice for Student Appreciation Day here at the Woody on Saturday. And if you had to pick two plays that I think defined today, one of them happened over here. Jermaine Matthews, is either good coverage or handsy coverage, however you want to say it, a deep ball down the sideline, and Jeremiah Smith goes up and gets it anyway. And then the true one, these are out there on social media. At the other end of the field, Devin Brown throws one up into what I would describe as triple coverage, kind of a 50-50 ball up into triple coverage, and Jeremiah Smith makes the catch, and like literally everybody in his place was like, whoa. Like all simultaneously, like you kind of heard that sort of echo through here, all at the same time. So we've been trying to kind of like, how much like should we tamp down the hype train on Jeremiah Smith? We need to like catch ourselves on Jeremiah Smith and not get too far ahead. Did today end that, Andrew?
Yeah, I mentioned on a pod a couple of weeks ago, just threw it out there like, hey guys, like, are we taking this too far? Because I think we were like 2 or 3 practices in, and you're like, wow, like physically this guy looks really good. And there was a play down this sideline. I think Jermaine Matthews was in coverage, and he had a hold of him. Like they would have called a holding in a game, and he just made a wonderful catch. I didn't see the one on that sideline. C.J. Hicks actually made a really nice play and blew up one of the running backs, and he was yelling at the running backs that it was a sack and the quarterback that it was a sack. So I didn't see the play. It was happening right in front of me. But the size of Jeremiah Smith, the speed of Jeremiah Smith, we knew that. Now we're watching him go up against Denzel Burke and dudes that would be Jermaine Matthews, dudes that would be playing at a Big Ten level. Like, would it surprise you if Denzel Burke was an All-American level player this year? It probably shouldn't. And guess what? Jeremiah Smith was going toe-to-toe with that guy. And he is, what today was 8? I think today was 8 spring practices in. It's March 30th, and this guy hasn't been in college for a semester yet, and he's already doing this. So I understand he's a freshman. Maybe we should. I brought that up. I will wear that. I said it. I'm not saying it anymore. I think if you are watching this video thinking, well, I'm not there, I don't know, you should be as excited as possible about Jeremiah Smith. I'm pretty sure if we do depth charts or something like that, from what we've seen from a talent perspective, there's no way we can leave him off the field. I mean, he's just a special, special talent that, frankly, you just watch and you're like, this kid's a freshman? It's pretty remarkable.
I think it was a fair thing to ask on your part because from what we had seen, we hadn't seen him going on two brief windows early in practice. We hadn't seen him actually going up against the defense. And I forgot to mention, but I'm glad you brought it up, Andrew, that second catch I was talking about. The 2 defensive backs that he split were Caleb Downs, a freshman All-American last year, and Denzel Burke, who's going to be a 4-year starter. Like, those are the 2 guys who he was going up and making that catch over. And Denzel Burke afterwards, because he saw people are already kind of those clips were already going viral, and he had some things he wanted to say about iron sharpening iron, and they'll get theirs back, I guess, whatever. But the word is out, and I thought, Stephen, today what was most important was, again, when we're evaluating things here, who is he doing it against? Not just what does it look like, who is he doing it against, and how consistently is he doing it? I even joked at one point with the guys I was standing next to, like, Ryan Day should tell him to go in and drop one. Like, drop an easy one so that we don't have to do this. But as Ryan Day was asked afterwards about him, and he said, like, I don't want to say too much, but, like, which tells you everything. That tells you everything.
I'll say it for Ryan Day. I think he might be their best wide receiver this year. I'm ready to drive that bus. In fact, I think all 3 of us are just going to drive that bus. So let's just get that out of the way now before we do the pod. Let me give you our vantage point of that second catch. Andrew and I came out on the field for part of it because, they let everybody on the field. And you can see it's just a different angle, and it's interesting to watch from the quarterback size in that situation. Carter Lowe, their 2025 offensive line commit, he's standing right next to me. And we're both watching it. 2 things happened for starters. Donovan Jackson got beat on, I think a twist. And it was Edric Houston who beat him. And so in front of us, Edric Houston's yelling, sack, 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 sack. And Donovan's like, no. And they're still even talking about it after the practice. This was hilarious to me. But Carter and I are watching the ball go down. I don't know if this is real or not, but it looked like Jeremiah Smith knew he wasn't going to catch it and slowed down and just kind of gave up on it. And then all of a sudden, he just goes, I'm Jeremiah Smith. I'm just going to go catch the ball. And we look at each other. Carter and I look at each other and we're like, oh, my God, what's happening here? And I know this is, to your point, this is hyperbolic. The people in this building are getting hyperbolic about it. Ryan Day is trying his hardest to not go too far with it. Brian Hartline didn't care. He went too far with it. The players are going too far with it. Him losing his stripe as early as he did, that's going too far with it. The opportunity, we've talked about this as well. We haven't had a true freshman have an opportunity to see the field this way since Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson made the most of it. But Garrett Wilson isn't what Jeremiah Smith was as a true freshman. Garrett Wilson's not doing it in a room full of Garrett Wilsons. So I'm there. I think he might be their best wide receiver this year, and not saying that with Carnell Tate being here, Emeka Ibuka being here, Brandon Ennis, who did not be a full participant at practice today for what Ryan Day called a temporary injury. But I just think Jeremiah Smith, man, we did a Mount Buckmore earlier this year, and we said, can Jeremiah Smith get there? If he's a 3-time 1,000-yard wide receiver here, none of that's going to shock me anymore.
Yeah, it's just what it looks like. It's not a theory. It's not what the recruiting rankings tell you somebody's supposed to be. It's what it looks like, and it looks really impressive. And it's only halfway through spring practice, so what it looks like by the time we get to September is really intriguing. And we'll be talking about it a lot between now and then. So get Buckeye Talk wherever you can find podcasts, and get the text 614-350-3315, because when we're at practice, if we see more things like that, that's where we're going to be talking about them first from cleveland.com.